Alright, besties, y'all have been asking me for a story time on my background and my sister wife and husband and how we became what we are today. I'm going to try to keep this sweet and to the point. I'm not going to say short because it probably won't be short. Starting with my background, my mother was in and out of jail. I was kind of back and forth between my mom and dad up until I was about 11 years old when I chose to go live with my dad because I wanted a present parent and my mom was living the party life. She met my brother's dad and went down a bad path. I have forgiven her since, and we are on good terms and have a great relationship. My stepmom and my dad are a completely different story, and I will probably have a hard time forgiving them for the rest as long as I live, and you'll understand why. So when I was 5 years old, my mom got arrested for the first time. That's when I actually met my dad for the first time that I can recall, and he uses that to this day as an excuse for his shitty choice that he made. At 12, my mom went to prison for weed for 3 years. At that point, from 12 to 17, my dad molested me. My mom got out when I was about 16, and then when I was 17, I broke free away from him with the promise that he wouldn't have to pay my mom child support for the last year that I was a child, and that I wouldn't tell anybody or he would unalive himself, which was a freaking lie, by the way. And I wanted to add here that I still allowed him to be in my life after I moved out because I didn't know any better. I felt like it was my fault, like most SA victims do. And he was my dad, so I craved that relationship even though he did not deserve that relationship. And because of that, the courts only gave him a slap on the wrist, 5 years of probation for molesting his own kid for 5 years. Mind you, it wasn't until I was 22 when I got him to admit it in a text message saying, I molested you, and immediately went to the court and blasted him on Facebook. I got addicted to drugs. I started partying and stuff when I moved in with my mom. And then I got clean a little bit before I got pregnant with my almost 10-year-old daughter now. And immediately got married because my dad and stepmom told me that I didn't want to have a child out of wedlock. When that was literally nothing compared to the shit that they had done and did. I blame her also because I now, knowing what I know, feel like she knew but didn't care. She didn't like me. She would blatantly tell me that she hated me and didn't like me. She liked her kids and would ask my dad to send me off somewhere all the time, and I prayed that he would. Anyways, got pregnant with my daughter, immediately got married even though we weren't fit for each other. My daughter's donor, he not only was talking to one of my friends and seeing her behind my back while I was pregnant with her. We are no longer friends, by the way. I blocked her on everything not long ago. I did allow her to be in my life after that point, but now that I am healing and setting boundaries for myself, I decided that she does not deserve access to me. He worked at the diner making like $200 a week. I worked at Dollar General, but he would spend his whole check on GameStop and I would be paying the bills. Not to mention that I came home from work one day and she was sitting in shit in her crib in a soiled diaper and he was playing video games. That's kind of when I lost it for him. But I didn't leave him until a hurricane was coming to hit Florida. But we went to Alabama to get away from it, and he started doing meth at his aunt's house and then became even worse than he already was, and then I left him. I still have all these holes from my childhood, and now on top of it, I feel like I have failed at having a normal, happy family, so then I indulge again into drugs. Fast forward a little bit, I meet somebody, they're like, I want to get you away from all this. I moved 12 hours away to Indiana. So I stopped doing drugs, but then I start drinking alcohol from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep every single day because I was depressed. And he didn't actually like women, so he was not very nice to me either. We were back and forth toxic. We were toxic for each other. I'm not saying that I was perfect in the relationship. I absolutely did my part too, and I'm sure I am the villain in some story, just as they are in mine, so I'm not saying I'm perfect. But we fought all the time. He kicked me out all the time. We would get back together. Toxic, especially in front of my daughter. I meet Amanda on social media. She and I talk all the time, and he and I talk like when she and I are talking, and we're friends for like 2 years out of this 3-year relationship that I'm referring to. At a certain point, I felt like I was the reason our relationship was so bad because of my drinking, so I stopped drinking for a month. Then come to find out, nothing changed on his end, and it wasn't just me. I'm sure my drinking didn't help, but he was still toxic, and we were still toxic. He threw a cake at one of my friends at my birthday party because she wanted to sing happy birthday to me before she left. Sorry, Javier. He went on a trip to Texas and was talking to his ex that lived there, and she sent me screenshots, and I got so blackout drunk that night that my friend Kirsten, thank you Kirsten, had to come and break into my house and put me in the tub and like bring me back awake because I had passed out. I was like, well, it's not my drinking, so I picked up drinking again because, again, still depressed, still having the same issues. So I drank myself to the point one day when we were fighting that I tried to leave and I passed out in my car, thankfully on the break, and thankfully someone saw, called the ambulance, and I got hospitalized in a mental institution for alcohol poisoning. Mind you, this guy took a picture of me in the mental hospital, and then after I came here, tried to send it to me several times on different accounts to try to get me to come home. Whack. Until one night I got into an altercation with this girl at a racetrack and got the police involved, and he was like, if you've been drinking, get out. And I told him, yes, I've been drinking. Then proceeded to drag me out of the house. I mean, pull me while I'm gripping onto the couch out of the house in front of the 3 children present, my daughter and his 2 kids that were there for the weekend. Locks me outside. Mind you, we're in downtown Indianapolis. It's dangerous as hell. There's literally a shooting down the road earlier that night, but he didn't care. He locked me outside. I walked around. I called the people who lived around there, and nobody could help. I called Amanda, and she was like, that's it. You are not living life like this anymore, especially not with your daughter involved. She bought me a plane ticket. Kind stranger picked me up. I hung out at their house all night. That morning, I walked back to my house. I packed everything I could into 2 suitcases, got an Uber. We went to the airport, came here. Now, with us being friends for as long as we had, the comfort level and the communication level of their relationship, she knew that there was a possibility that he and I could develop feelings for each other and would want to be together before she even invited me to be here. They invited me to be here several times, and with no obligations of a relationship or anything, just to get on my feet. But she knew with me coming here that we could develop something because we had been friends for years, and was comfortable with it because she loved me, I her, the same that we do now. Matter of fact, she'll even tell you that she told him once I got here to do whatever it took for me not to go back to that toxic cycle, because I had a track record of going back and going back and going back. If you know, then you know. I went back every single time. And feelings were there. We all communicated it. We're like, let's try this. We want to start a family together and join our family together and have babies. And here we are, 5 years later, 4 kids later. We have given our lives to God, and we're trying to raise our kids the best that we can. So that's my background and my sister wife story time. And I love y'all, and thank y'all for being here and supporting us along the way. And I hope you enjoyed our story. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, love you, bye.